So now, after all of these openings, we will begin with the conference part of it, and with the first real highlight. I'm very, very pleased to welcome again in Cluj a highly successful entrepreneur and CEO, but also one of the person that's very close to the pulse of time. Sorry? He's not ready yet? No. Ralph Simon, who is has been a good friend and somebody I learned a lot from last year, because he's despite he's been in this industry for 40 plus years now, he's one of the youngest people I know, because he's
baby.
So I'll give the stage to you and let you introduce your partner Yossi Vardi, the father of the Israeli ecosystem. Thank you very much for coming again.
Very good. Let's have some lights. Ah, that is good. Salute, salute, salute. Salute. Bună dimineața. Ce mai faci? Fantastic, fantastic. Un quintat. Numele meu e Ralph Simon, and I just want to say one thing. E fin la Cluj. Oh yeah, baby. Mulțumesc. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got something fantastic for you. To start off, Techsylvania. This is now one of the most important gatherings in the world, not just in Cluj, not just in Romania, but all over the world. People know about Techsylvania and know about Cluj. Very important. And so today we'd like to introduce you to somebody who is one of the great figures in the world in terms of innovation, in terms of creative thinking, and in terms of investing in companies that have gone on to do incredibly well. We'd like to bring to the stage somebody who is really creates waves all over the world. He's just come in from being in Asia. He travels all over the world all the time. But from Israel, we'd like to introduce one of the great characters of this internet world. Let's bring Mr. Yossi Vardi. Yossi.
Should I also scream? No?
Number two. And we're going to bring these chairs a little bit more forward, Yossi. Why don't you sit there? That's it.
Ha ha! Should I also scream?
Yes, give us. Ah! Yossi, fantastic to have you in Cluj. Really amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just give you a little bit of an introduction to Yossi so that you understand Yossi's background. He started when he was 26 years old, one of the very first entrepreneurial actors in developing technology. He's been active in founding internet companies and internet startups. He founded a company in 1996 called Mirabilis.
I didn't founded it, I funded it.
He
Big
funded
difference.
it, put the money in.
We're already 5 minutes into the talk, you know.
Uh-huh. And this is the creator of ICQ. How many of you know ICQ? Not many, Yossi.
Anybody got his wife on ICQ? Come to talk to me later.
How many of you use instant messaging? Thanks to this man, instant messaging became an important, after only 19 months of having the company, you sold it to Microsoft.
No, to AOL.
AOL. And then he invested in the following companies. You would probably know them. Answers.com, which went public. Gteco, sold to Microsoft. Airlink, sold to Sierra Wireless. Tivella, sold to Cisco. Scopus went public. Foxy Tunes, sold to Yahoo. Two Cows, very important platform, went public. The Gift Project, sold to eBay.
Etc., etc.
Okay, it's enough about that. But basically, Yossi, you have developed companies and you have invested in over 80, maybe over 100 companies.
Yes. Ask me how many of them failed.
How many of those companies failed?
30 failed, went bust, disappeared, evaporated, became zero.
Became zero. So the one thing, if I can say a quote that you're famous for saying is, and listen to this, very famous words from Yossi Vardi. If you are afraid to fail, then you should go and become a banker.
Yeah, which doesn't guarantee a success either.
Right. So let's just have a look at, can we see, what slide have we got up there now? Oh yeah, so good to be in good. So we thought we'd start off today, Yossi, by showing everyone what happens in 1 internet minute. In the internet in 2018, what happens in 1 internet minute?
1 minute.
In 1 minute, this is what goes on. Let's have a look.
Nothing is happening in 1 minute, at least according to the slides.
That's right. So,
no, now it's
there's
gone.
the slide. Okay. So take a look at that. I hope you can see it from the audience, but just look, in 1 minute on the internet, of all of these companies, Facebook, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Twitch, but look at those numbers, just in 60 seconds, every second, every minute, every day.
By the way, what is Tinder?
What is Tinder?
Yeah, my wife told me when you showed the slide, I should ask what is Tinder so they don't think I'm using it.
Well, Yossi, maybe if you use Tinder here in Cluj, you can find yourself some beautiful new friends.
You will meet my wife in the next event. She will take your eyes out.
Very good. Okay, so let's, here we are, and in just 1 month, look at these numbers. This is really something. Let's just look at those numbers just in a month. Look at that, Facebook, 42 billion logins.
Wow. Look at WhatsApp.
Huh?
Can you read the number? Can you say it in words? The number of WhatsApp.
There we are. There it is in Romanian. Maybe that might be, I hope you can see that from way in the back there, but just look at all of those numbers. Those are really incredible numbers, Yossi.
Ralph, can you put the former slide back? I would like to comment on the former slide, if I may.
Of the 60 minutes?
Of the 60 seconds, 61 minute.
There we are.
Yeah, I think that the very important things which kind of loom from this site, if you look on the most prevailing things on the internet, you will see that they have one common thing. Not all of them, but most of them. Anybody is willing to suggest what is the most common thing?
I think that they're still sleeping.
Yeah, they didn't wake up. Did you wake up or you are still in a coma? Can you suggest what is the thing which comes very clear from this slide? Social. Who said social? Get to Ralph Klein, to Ralph Simon at the end of the session. He will give you a free car. You were completely correct. I think that the most important thing to see that most of the powerful things has to do with connecting people. You have here in every minute 38 million messages. You have 137 million emails. You have 1.1 million Tinder. And the list goes on and on and on. You have 2.4 million Snapchat. You have about 1 million login to Facebook. So the most important, the most powerful one thing in the internet is that it's enabler for people to stay in touch together. This is very, very important. And if you will go and look on what are the powerful apps, you will find almost always a social thread. Even if it's not a social application, in most of the powerful applications, you have some kind of social thread, some kind of getting people together, some kind of getting people opinions, some kind of enabling people to get in touch, to check information, to compare notes, etc., etc. If you want to create a powerful application, you better try to see how to incorporate a social thread. Ralph, this was an answer to the question that we agreed that you will ask me during breakfast, but I forgot to give you the time to ask it.
So when you are looking at investing in new companies, because you tend to focus on companies in Israel, startup nation, you were there right at the very beginning. Many years ago, before you were 30 years old, you were the Director General of the Ministry of Development.
Yeah, let's concentrate on the internet,
Okay, let's do that. So in terms of social and companies that are successful, you look at the successes now, someone like Mark Zuckerberg had an early idea of social. But this is now continuing as a main theme of a lot of Israeli development.
Yeah, but also the interesting thing, forget about email and Facebook, this is obvious.
Right.
But if you and I will go in the time machine 20 years back, and I will ask you, Ralph, when Amazon was new, what was the feature which really pulled you, suck you into Amazon other than the other e-commerce platforms?
Well, it was just the speed with which you could get things delivered or things that you
No,
could get.
I think it was something else. It shows you that the people who looked for this product, what other products they also look for. You remember this feature, and this is a very strong social feature because it used the wisdom of the crowd in order to do the discovery what may be relevant product to you, but the recommendation was done by the whole community. So here is another example how social approach empower things which have no social things. Same is on TripAdvisor, same today's in hotel search that you have the reviews, the opinion of people, etc.
So, for example, a great Israeli success story with Waze.
Yes.
With those 2 guys or 3 guys in Tel Aviv decided they want to disrupt mapping, and out of that came Waze, which has a social value.
Yeah, it has a very big social value. By the way, these guys are totally untrustable, I must tell you from my very bad experience. They came to me and suggested to me to invest in Waze at a valuation of $5 million. And I told them, you really think that I'm a sucker, that I will pay $5 million for a company which make maps by the users? Nevertheless, after 3 years, I read that Google want to buy them for $1 billion. So I called them and I told them, guys, I reconsidered and I'm willing to invest, but these crooks told me, go away. So you have to be very careful with these guys.
Yes, $1.2 billion, a very big win. Not the biggest out of Israel, because Mobilium, the autonomous driving technology company, was sold to Intel for $15 billion.
Yeah, so I will tell you my Mobilium, they didn't offer me to invest in it, but a day after they sold it to Intel. I got a call from Yediot Achronot, which is a very... No, it was one of the radio stations or the television. I don't know. They told me, Vardi, since you have done this wonderful exit of selling ICQ to AOL, what would be your advice to these people who made this exit? So I told them, look, considering the fact that my great exit was only 3% of their exit, the relevant question is what they can advise me, not what I can advise them.
So, Yossi, let's go back to this, just looking at the activity, obviously driving so much. Those are some of the big, what people say, the rulers of the modern world is GAFANs. How many of you know what GAFANs is? Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Snap. They are ruling the world in many respects, but there's great opportunity for new companies. Tell us how you find and what draws you to new companies in Israel?
No, first of all, I want you to ask me what drew me to Cluj. Why I made all the way to Cluj.
Yes, this is your very first time in Romania, the first few hours in Romania.
I have a lot of Romanian experience because my wife is half Romanian, you know.
Which half is that?
I cannot elaborate on it. So ask me, why did I come to Cluj?
Why did you come to Cluj?
I will tell you why did I come to Cluj, and this is a true story. You know, first of all, Vlad was very persistent.
Vlad Surka, the organizer of Texelvania.
Yeah, and I thank him again that
he's a great guy.
Yeah. We should say he's a great guy, otherwise he will not invite us next year. Vlad, you are a great guy. But the reason, yeah, you should give round of applause to Vlad.
Yeah, definitely. Great.
But I have to tell you why I came. About 5 or 6 years ago, somebody told me that there is this place in Romania called Cluj, which I never heard about. And he told me kids 21 years old, are developing autonomous cars in the kitchen of their mothers. This is what I was told. And I said, if this is the culture, I must go to see this place which empower people to do this kind of thing. Then Steffi came to me and she told me she was in this conference, maybe 3 or 4. Steffi is a good friend of ours. She will speak in the afternoon. And she told me, you know, the amount of energy is huge and the amount of hackers is amazing. So this morning I thought maybe for 5 minutes, should I open my laptop here or not, you know, but at the end I opened it. Guys, please don't tamper with my laptop because otherwise I will not be able to come next year. So really, I think Cluj is one of these places which the least expected, but because of a culture, we spoke this morning about the importance of culture. Because of culture, some very interesting things are happening here. In the audience, who is involved in startup? Can you raise your hand? So well, all the startups are not here. They are doing the work. These guys just came. Who wants to be involved in startup? Raise your hand. One thing is for sure, they don't understand my accent. This is obvious. Who can raise in hand just for the sake of raising hand? Can you raise your hand?
Yeah.
10%.
10%.
What's wrong about the other 90%? Who has 2 hands? Can you raise your hand? Can you raise your 2 hands? We are missing something.
But they're very smart. You know,
Who is awake? Can you raise your hand? Who is sleeping? Can you raise your hand?
Like what they say is, the thing about people in Cluj is marfa. Marfa.
What is marfa?
Or misto. It's cool. People here are cool.
Look, your origination is from South Africa, right?
Correct.
So how do you know Romanian?
Well, I love Romania, and I love Romanians because I found there's a very interesting creativity here in Romania, and particularly in Cluj. It's such an important center of learning.
Yeah.
The biggest university in Romania is here.
What is the top Romanian dish that you like?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you've eaten Romanian food even before you came to Romania. No?
Yeah. In Israel, it's very popular. I am like 20% chorba, made out of chorba.
So, Yossi, I wanted to ask you a question about something that you started. There's a slide on the screen you can see there, 4YFN. And I should just say, Yossi, for many years...
I didn't start it. I started Kinernet, but not... I
started we'll come to Kinernet after this. But in fact, let's go to Kinernet. This is something that you started. Tell us the background to this.
Okay, Kinernet, first of all, is an unconference. I'm afraid to ask who knows what is unconference because nobody will raise their hand. So maybe I will ask, who doesn't know what is unconference? Raise your hand. You see, so everybody know what is...
Unconference.
Yeah, because only 2 raise their hand that they don't know. Okay, unconference is a conference, but without a pre-arranged program. In unconference, all the participants are speakers. Everybody has the right to get on the stage and to say what he wants. It's a very engaging format. It can take between 1 day and 4 days, and its optimal number of participants is 100 to 400. It's not a huge gathering, and I learned about this format from a very nice and important guy in Silicon Valley. His name is Tim O'Reilly. Anybody knows who is Tim O'Reilly? Okay, we have here about 5 developers among the crowd. So we have 5 developers. We have 2 startups.
Right.
What all the rest of the people are doing in Cluj?
I don't know. That's what we've got to find out.
Maybe lawyers, bankers. How many lawyers in the audience? No lawyers. That's very good. So Tim O'Reilly is a publisher of books about programming. Now it's not books anymore, and he's doing events. And he has done in 2 or 3 this event. He invited me. It was amazing. I don't want to go to the whole thing. I started to replicate it in Israel and then in the rest of the world. And now,
where is it now? Which cities is Kinnernet in today?
Kinnernet today is in Israel. It's in Portugal. It's in France, in Venice, in Spain, in Latin America, in a number of places, and that this same format under a different name is done in other places in the world, in India, in Santa Monica, Santa Barbara, in a lot of places.
So you've done all of this because you are fascinated with developing new talent, new ideas. Your whole thing is about creating good by doing good and making good.
You give me too much credit. You know, I should hire you as my PR. You said already so many things which are not true but sound great that you should be my PR person.
So, Yossi, let's take a look at 4YFN. And this is another idea that you have been responsible for developing over the last 4 years. Just tell us, how many people come to this and where is it?
First of all, let's give credit to whom credit due. The 4YFN conference was initiated by a joint venture of the Mobile World Congress and the city of Barcelona. It takes place once every year in February in Barcelona in parallel to the Mobile World Congress.
What does 4YFN stand for?
First of all, what is the conference? The conference is for startups to put them in touch with large companies and investors. And this is what I call the golden triangle. If you want to create a great event for startups, you have to, first of all, to adhere to their culture, which is not the culture of large corporate. You know, large corporate like to come with ties. Startups don't like ties because ties stop the flow of oxygen into the brain with all the consequences of... Yeah, but they need to talk with large corporations and with investors. Large corporations like to talk to startups because what was for many years the NIH paradigm, which means not invented here. You know, when you and I try to go to a large company, they will say, who are you? We don't need you. We have 200 or 2,000 smart people, go away. But then in the late 90s and the early 2000s, the big companies all of a sudden saw that some nobodies like Sergey Brin and Larry Page and Zuckerberg and other people came and in 2 or 3 years disrupted their whole industry. So from NIH, they moved to the totally different paradigm, which we called FOMO, fear of missing out. Now they're afraid that somebody will come and will disrupt their business, so they come to see what's going on in the startups. And the Mobile World Congress with the city of Barcelona decided to make this event. It started in 2014 with 2,000 people. Then they asked me to chair it for whatever reason. In 2015, we had 8,000 people. In 2016, we had about 14,000 people. 2017, we had 18,000 people. In 2018, we had about 21 or 22,000 people. So it's becoming, in numbers, it's the fastest growing startup event. It's not the biggest yet. The biggest, I think, is Paddy Congreve, who is doing a wonderful event called the Web Summit, which takes place
in Lisbon.
But this one is growing very fast, and the strong alliance of startups plus the top players in the industry is a great combination. These were 60-second of shameless propaganda for 4YFN.
4 years from now. That's what 4YFN. So what will your company be doing in 4 years from now? Let's go to...
50% chance that it will not exist.
Wow, that's it.
Yeah,
It's like going to the casino in Las Vegas.
Casino at Las Vegas, I don't know about this business, but...
So here's another one that you're very involved in called Unbound. Tell us about Unbound.
Unbound is another conference which is produced by a very energetic English young person by the name of Daniel Seal. And again, I'm acting as the chairman for whatever. I'm like Uber, you know, you need a chairman for a conference, you press a button, I appear. So this is a conference which takes place right now in London and in Singapore.
You were in Singapore a few days ago
Yeah,
at Unbound?
yeah.
How many people were there?
This year we had 13,600 people registered to the event in Singapore, which is 5.5 million people. So 13,000 from 5.5, it's like having a conference with 40 million people in the United States.
Incredible.
Yeah,
And
sort
all
of.
the top innovators and startups come to Unbound?
I don't know if all, but many of them come, but also come from the neighborhood. We had about 20% at least foreign people. These were 60 seconds of shameless propaganda for Unbound. Next.
Next. Okay, so Yossi, tell us, what do you think that you found on the companies that you see, all these startups? What are the characteristics of a successful...
We should have started with this question, you know.
You're
Now we are left with 2.5 minutes. But I would like to say the following. When I invested, as you know, at about 86 internet companies. 32 I've done exits, as you mentioned. 30 I failed, as I mentioned. And 25 are still running around. Some of them will do very well. Some of them will die, and some of them will be zombies, which means they don't die and they don't live, they just hang around. But when I look to invest, I don't look on the idea. Ideas, you have a lot of ideas. Ideas don't matter. What matters is how you execute them. So when I invest, I look on the people. The people are the most important thing. I want in the people 3 things. I want them to be very talented, at least like the ladies who have done the dance here. A round of applause for the ladies. They were wonderful. And I want talent, I want virtues, that I will work with nice people, because at the end of the day, your life is a mirror of the people which surround you. If you are surrounded by pleasant people, by creative people, by good people, then your life reflects it. If you are surrounded by people which suck all your energy, you come as if you drank a lemon juice in the morning, you know, like a whole jar of lemon juice. So I look at the people, and since I invest only the first money very early, I want them not to go and just spend money irresponsibly. So, but as I said before, when I look into projects, I always trying to see if there is a social thread, if there are some other things which, never mind what is the product, but it will enhance the product, it will make the product more attractive, it will make the product more viral, and it's very difficult to find this product, you know, because you have to invest in 80 products in order to get few great exits, number of good exits, number of mediocre exits, and the long tail of companies which go nowhere.
So in Romania, they say...
What I ask you all the time, you talk about me.
Okay.
Ralph, let me ask you a couple of questions, okay?
Yeah.
What is the one thing that if you tell us, it will embarrass you so much that you will be humiliated for the rest of the day?
Oh my God, I can't tell this audience here. I would be too embarrassed.
So tell us, what is the thing which gave you the biggest satisfaction in your whole life that you did in business and in no business, not in business?
2 things. One is my mother saying to me, I don't care what you do as long as you are loving it so much you don't have to find a job.
You had a very smart mother. You know what my mother told to me?
No.
My mother told me, why all your cousins are geniuses and you are the only idiot in the family. This is how she thought she will motivate me. And though she finished maybe only 8 years of school, she was a very curious person. I inherited from her her curiosity and the mustache. And she was very interested. She was very interested in genetics. She told me, you are idiot and they are smart because they are not contaminated with the genes of your father. What is the last thing before this guy throws us off the stage? So this is the one thing you said you have two. Can you say the last one?
They say in Romania you have to have two things to have a successful company. You need to be mintea creata.
Mintea creata, which means you have to be very creative.
You've only been in Romania for 5 hours and you already know that. The second thing is they say to be successful in Romania in technology, you have to be arepitici pe craier.
Arepitici, I give up. I cannot speculate on this one.
You've got to be a Meshuggah.
Meshuggah, yeah, that's good. Last thing about Meshuggah, you know, I was regarded many years as crazy. When I've done the exit to AOL, overnight I became from crazy, I became eccentric, you know, so eccentric is the privilege of the people who do exit. Until then they are crazy, then they are becoming eccentric. Thank you very much.
Yossi, toda rabba. Thank you
very much.
Yossi Vardi.
Thank you, guys. This was
Yossi.
fantastic. Thank you so much. You're like truly like an old couple who's been together for many, many years on stage, so this has worked very well. So please do honor us with your presence. I know that people are hunting for you, Yossi, already, because you're already like in another discussion. So thank you very much. It was great.